Last night was a late deadline story. We published as much as we knew at that time. A lot more detail has come out in the intervening time, certainly. We've added space for multiple pages of coverage in the Chicago Tribune printed edition. We've continued to add photo galleries and news stories and graphics and video online throughout the day, and that will be a rich vein of coverage about this as well. The killing of Osama bin Laden is obviously one of the most important news stories of the last decade. It really stands as a counterpoint to September 11th, which was really one of the darkest days in American history. So it's very important that we tell the story in its full scope. Its story reaches around the world. And we have reporters dispatched across the world to tell that story. It's also a deeply personal story because I think everybody understands where they were when that September 11th tragedy occurred. And many people were touched by it. Certainly all of us have been affected by it in some form or another. If we fly in an airplane, have to go through extended security. Osama bin Laden and Al-Qaeda and September 11th forever changed really our lives and the way we go about our personal daily lives, and so we need to document that as well and to capture that experience. We've got correspondents in Washington covering it. We have correspondents in Islamabad, nearby where the raid took place, and so the story that is really people want to know as much about is how that raid unfolded. And details are still coming out on that, but it's clear that President Obama had a choice to make early on. He could have chosen to obliterate the compound with bombs, chose not to do that in favor of a more surgical strike by a small group of Navy SEALs and other CIA operatives. That was a touch-and-go mission in the early going when a helicopter crashed in the process of it, but they carried it off with, again, with surgical precision. Today that Osama bin Laden's body was buried at sea early Monday morning is fascinating in that the government wanted to remove any kind of possibility of a memorial or a place that people could go pay homage to him. But that's also fueled a lot of conspiracy theories. We seem to live in an age where people find conspiracies in everything, and that is, you can see it across the internet, a lot of discussion, chatter about people raising questions about whether it happened at all. So we're going to follow that story as well. We have a number of stories about security, heightened security, because I think clearly there is worry that the attack will perhaps engender other attacks on American citizens or others elsewhere in the world. After all, that's what Al-Qaeda is about, terrorist attacks. So we take a look at that. We also look at stories about people that had contact with victims, families that lost loved ones, and how they're processing this amazing moment, this killing of bin Laden. Really an event that many people believe would never come, finally came, and how that's really changed is changing their perception of the history of this event. So we urge you to take a look at not only the website on an ongoing basis, but check out tomorrow's Chicago Tribune, which I think will capture a hugely important day in history.